We're right, you're wrong, tell us why you're right. And then when you refuse to play their ego games, they slam you all over the internet. But we tried to ask her a question, and she wouldn't answer it. I would love for their audiences, for them to see the types of emails that they sent me, and then expect me to answer with their arrogance and their attitudes. I just don't play that game. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. I'm just here to be a mouthpiece for the Lord and say what He wants me to say whenever He wants me to say it. I'm here to do what needs done. I'm here to lead His people into doing what needs done. And the job description grows and grows, but it's all about Him. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about Him. You know, why don't you have an updated web picture on your website? I like the anonymity. I like being the unknown. That picture 20 years ago looks better than I do now anyway. You know, I don't know what the big deal is. I don't want anything about me. I don't want it to be anything about me. I'm just a humble servant of the Lord's. I just love Him. I'll do what He asks. I've always been so much of a doer. Better a doer than a talker. Sometimes I don't make myself clear enough, or explain myself good enough, or well enough, or I could have said that better, could have done that better, whatever. It's very hard to be in the limelight all the time and just be under a microscope and, well, you could have said that better. You could have wrote that better. Look at the grammatical errors in that. I just don't live up to people's expectations, and I don't want to. I'm not an English major. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a geography expert. I'm just me. And I get tired of dealing with the outside world. I kind of stay to myself. I stay to myself unless I've got a mission up my sleeve. And I get out there on the road with a warrior or two. That's some living right there. That's some living. When you're on a mission for the Lord, that's probably the best times of my life, right there. And people say, well, weren't you beamed to death? Weren't they frying you to death? Yeah, but you know what? I was having fun every bit of it, too. You know, we suffer for the Lord, and I'll take those hits. I'll suffer for Him. And He suffered for us, you know, and so we shouldn't expect any less. We're going to suffer for Him. And I'll do that. I'll suffer for Him because I love Him. I don't ask for a life of ease. I've never asked for a life of ease. I've never asked for, a life of luxury. The things I asked for have been very simple. Show me what you want me to do, Lord. Teach me how to hear you. Reveal the truth in all things to me. You know, I've always just kind of prayed, turned my prayer life around to where it's one in alignment with how He taught us to pray to begin with. You know, you have the churches today, the prosperity teachers, just changing and mixing religion all around so that people actually get the gall to think that they have a right to tell God what to do for them or what He is supposed to do for them. That's a dangerous ground to walk on, folks. When you think that you're something that you can tell God what He's to do for you. I can't stomach listening to it. And so anyway, this week I was looking over articles on things that the Lord had pointed out to me about James Bartley's stuff. And just seeing how two people from two ends of the spectrum could come to the same conclusions about this whole UFO and alien agenda. And it reminded me of an article I wrote years ago, and you can read it. It's called The Invasion Has Begun. This is at my website, SherryShriner.com, SherryTalkRadio.com, TheWatcherFiles.com. Just click on articles and read The Invasion Has Begun, because this is something the Lord told me 3 or 4 years ago. And now that you look back, and He said it was going to get worse, and it certainly has. And this is stuff that was going on years ago. And this is, part of the end days prophecies, folks. that Satan would rule and control over the earth, he's not just going to do it by running the United Nations. He's going to do it also by having his own forces assimilated within the populations, so that he can use these assimilated hybrids and his own seed in these populations to begin anarchy and rebellions and riots. And we haven't started to see anything yet. When I look at the Bible codes for the next couple of months, and I'm thinking, if my trade doesn't come this March, I'm just taking a vacation for the next year. Because March is a very dominant month for him to be here. And, according to everything I can see, he is here. He just has not made a public announcement yet to the fact that he's here. And so if he's not going to do that until next year, then that means we've got another year of setup here in the United States. And what I mean by setup is basically control of the population, getting control. And the way they're going to do that is through destruction. Iran coming up. I was looking at Iran for April, and the things that every time I've warned that Bush was going to come out with some kind of draconian legislation, he has. The last time I was warning that Bush was going to come out with some kind of draconian legislation was just last month, whatever. And then you read about on the internet about how our Air Force generals in Colorado have made an agreement with Canada that if there's any kind of rebellion or insurrection here in the United States, that Canadian forces can come over here to the United States and vice versa. United States forces can go over to Canada. And I had seen that coming back in January. And the one I see coming, and it finally popped up in the Bible codes a little bit, I think, because I can't peg a name for it. I really don't know what the name of it's going to be. But something that the Lord keeps hitting my heart with, and just what I keep seeing. We're going to have some kind of really bad, draconian legislation that George Bush is going to announce real soon. And this legislation is going to consider it blasphemy to talk about King George. He's going to totally eliminate free speech in this country. And this could be the catalyst that begins martial law. Now, I know a lot of people are worried about the Second Amendment rights, losing your right to bear arms. Wait till you lose your right to free speech, because it's coming. They may even come before the right to bear arms. I don't know how they're going to do that, besides, throw us into a famine and then trade guns for food. Or if you want to continue being on the food stamp program, you have to turn your guns in, and because that's growing. I was just reading an article about how Ohio is at an all-time high for people on the food stamp program. And it's like I told my list, I could probably qualify for the last 10 or 15 years to be in the food stamp program, but I refuse to go on it. Number one is because they put their nose in every aspect of your business, whether it's, just kids going to school or not, or have, kids being sick or not. All of a sudden you start seeing them put their tentacles around your kids all the time. And another thing is even for the standard family, they give you enough food stamps for 2 weeks a month. They don't give you enough food for the entire month. They give you enough food to last you 2 weeks out of a month. And for all the aggravation and hassle you have to go with and go through, just to be a government slave, for government cheese, it's like, forget it, I'll starve. But you know what? I've never starved. The Lord's always taking care of us. The Lord's always taking care of us. A lot of people losing their jobs. And, just stay faithful with the Lord. He'll always take care of his own, I've never gone to bed hungry. I can remember a time I didn't have hot water for 6 months. I couldn't get all the bills paid, but I've never gone to bed hungry, and I certainly don't look hungry. So